You watch how much better they get too. Like we're gonna
Yeah.
flow. The next one I'm like this. I'm like, what was that, Nicole?
Hey everyone, my name's Nicole and I'm here with Miller Industries to talk about something that we don't typically think about until we need it, tow trucks. In 2019, there were 23 million crashes reported in the United States, with an economic impact costing $340 billion, directly involved with $1.37 trillion in costs who are simply caught up in the incidents. Those are huge numbers. Let's see how this can affect people at the state level. In a 5-year study in the state of Tennessee, there were a total of 109,000 incidents of non-accident related stranded vehicles on the highway. Now here's the crazy part. 78,000 accidents occurred that were related or involved with stranded or abandoned vehicles on the highway. Not only that, most of these accidents happen between 20 and 30 minutes of the first reported incident. So it's important that a tow truck can assist a motorist both efficiently and as quickly as possible. So to help me wrap my head around these numbers, I have 3 gentlemen who know the towing industry. I have Aaron, Josh, and Brian. Josh, what are you seeing with the advanced truck regulations in California?
So the Advanced Clean Truck Regulation dictates that increasing numbers of medium and heavy duty diesel vehicles are to be sold by the manufacturers. And what that means for us in the towing and recovery industry is the manufacturers that we currently mount our bodies to are required to produce battery electric vehicles. That doesn't work for our industry, plain and simple. If you've sat on the side of the highway and waited for a tow truck, you've sat for 30 minutes, an hour, hour and a half. Imagine if you had to sit there for 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours. That's what we're talking about.
Longer response times.
Correct.
So Brian, I'm nervous about being stranded on the side of the highway. Are there other states that are implementing this regulation?
Yes, there's 10 other states besides California. Josh, maybe you can elaborate on what those are.
I can. There are 10 other states that have signed on to follow these regulations identically, but those other states are also realizing that these regulations do not work. So they're delaying the implementation and trying to figure out ways that they can actually keep their highways moving and their motorists moving. So it's a good thing for us, but it still poses a challenge.
Aaron, are there even electric trucks available?
Currently for us, there are no electric tow trucks able to meet the needs that we have for our industry. And that's going to cause issues with, like these guys said, the response time, quick clearance. At the end of the day, it boils down to motorists sitting in traffic a lot longer and you as the consumer waiting a lot longer for service.
A much higher risk of secondary accidents.
So you said 8 to 10 hours or longer recovery times?
It's not uncommon for us to be on scene on major accidents for up to 8 to 10 hours at a time. And unfortunately, currently, we do not have a platform that can stay running that long on battery power.
So the ACT, which was created for the Clean Air Act in California, would that lead to more cars idling on the highway?
It definitely would. It would increase fuel consumption. It would increase pollution with the amount of people stuck in traffic.
Also, it will increase the cost of consumer products because it's going to cost more to ship. When the highway is shut down, it costs the state millions and millions of dollars of people being stuck in traffic and the product not moving.
And eventually that cost will be passed down to you as the consumer.
So dangerous situations, cost of living, more expensive, and safety just in general. What can we do to help?
Well, one, you can reach out to your state legislator with your concerns and just voice your opinion.
We've got a website that we created. It is saferoadscoalition.com. And there we have a toolkit that each person can click a preform letter and it will go directly to their state assembly person, legislators, and really we're using the voice of the masses to bring this message to people that if we don't act now, goods and services are going to come to a halt in major metropolitan areas, not even only in these 10 states, but throughout the entire country. And goods and services go up. I'll give you an example. There was a battery that flipped over on the Vincent Thomas Bridge in the Port of Long Beach. It was on its side for roughly 18 hours, and the predicted costs of that were somewhere in the range of $650 million.
Wow.
In commerce that was not able to go over that bridge. So just to give you an example.
So if I'm driving through a large city like Los Angeles, they have a quick response system in place. Would those tow trucks also be required to be energy efficient, EVs?
Yes, we call them Freeway Service Patrol, and they will have to comply with the ATC rule and move to electric.
So that leads to longer wait times for tow trucks.
Longer wait times, more traffic jams, and the risk of secondary crashes.
So you're saying that these will work for urban areas. What about rural areas?
Well, rural areas have challenges as well. The biggest thing is infrastructure, and sometimes the distances that these trucks have to travel.
They're at a much larger disadvantage because, as Aaron said, the infrastructure absolutely does not exist in many of those rural areas. They're going greater distances to their calls. They don't know they have no idea what they're faced with when they get there. They could be on a job for hours and hours and hours. There's no way they can complete the job and make their way home. And sometimes they're in environments. They're normally in the hills. They're dealing with snow, weather, mud, unique situations, which puts them at puts them in a real hazard, to be honest with you.
Wow.
And ultimately, towing and recovery is an on-call business. We never know where our next destination is until that call comes in. So we assist fire, we assist paramedics, we assist law enforcement. And typically, we are the first, if not the second industry that shows up when there's a collision on the highway. So if you're out in the middle of the woods and a car flips over, the call goes into the police station. We get called second to go out there and upright the vehicle and get that highway clear.
One of the other issues with these electric vehicles is, for us, these trucks most of our trucks work multiple shifts. Now they're going to have to work a shift and come back. So we're going to have more charging, more infrastructure. All this comes at a cost that is not, for us, instead of having, let's say you have one truck, now you have to have two trucks to do the same job. That's an enormous cost for a small business. That takes away from our ability to pay our employees, provide benefits and all the things that help them live their day-to-day lives. So it's a great disadvantage for us right now.
And at the end of the day, it's just more cost for the consumers.
So who regulates what a tow truck is equipped with in your area?
Generally, it's the Highway Patrol, and they dictate that we have trash cans, shovels, brooms, oil absorbent, that sort of thing, so we can clean up the mess that collisions leave.
How do you carry all that on your vehicle?
Well, we have the space as a manufacturer. We have toolboxes that we mount to the bodies, or to the chassis, I'm sorry, and that allows us the room to carry all those things that I mentioned. With electric vehicles that do not yet exist for our industry, that room is all gone and taken by batteries.
Therefore, we'd have to show up with a secondary vehicle, second person. All this leads to more cost to the end user, the consumer.
And basically, at the end of the day, it's increased cost to the motorist, the consumer, increased time, increased emissions, and increased fuel consumption.
So we're not affected here in Tennessee yet, but is there anything on the federal level that we could do?
There is. Currently, Congress is looking to review the regulations that ultimately will have an effect on the entire national highway system. So a lot of things start in the ports on both ends of the country and work their way inward. So even though some of these states haven't adopted the regulations, it's important for everybody to get involved, let their legislators and their congresspeople know about what's coming. That way we can keep commerce flowing, goods and services moving, and ultimately keep people employed.
I know the cost of living is important. What are the effects on the Freeway Service Patrol?
Well, the biggest thing with the Freeway Service Patrol is that it saves motorists about 9 million hours in traffic.
Wow.
Berkeley did a study that shows that it saves 16 million gallons of fuel annually with that program being in place.
And that is a government-funded program that is free to motorists. They travel up and down the highways, alleviating those log jams that alleviate fuel and hours sitting on the road.
Thank you all for sharing with me today. I really appreciate it. I learned a lot about the risks about being stranded on the side of the highway. I hope I don't need your services in the future, but it's nice to know and comforting to know that you're out there. To learn more about the ACT Act and how it could affect travel in your state, we have a few links for you below.